Okay, hello everyone. We're still getting some people coming into the webinar, but don't worry, we will get started in just a second. First, let me introduce myself. I am Carrie Campbell. I am the Assistant Director for University Housing, and I will be joining this webinar with some of our folks from the Housing Assignments Office and a current student, and they will be answering some questions behind the scenes. Let me have them introduce themselves. Heather, if you'll introduce yourself, and then Araceli, and then Sydney. Technical difficulty. There, you got it.
We love Zoom. We love it so much. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself and I'm also going to introduce Sydney. So my name is Heather Arnold. I work here with housing as well. And I work with Carrie. I am part of the public relations team and I oversee all of our social media and work with our student staff who work on our social media. And I'm also going to introduce Sydney, who's here with us, and she is a member of our assignments office. And so one of her roles is to kind of help people find their place here on campus and work through kind of intricacies of that. And so she's going to be behind the scenes answering a lot of specific questions about, when y'all have very specific questions about, what dates and times and locations, she's going to be helping with that as well. And then I'll turn it over to Araceli.
I'm Araceli. I'm a second year social media ambassador for UGA Housing, and I work under Heather and Carrie.
Right, so they're all gonna go away now, and they will be helping out in the background. Let me minimize that. Okay, so here's who this is for. Let me think. There we go. So this webinar is for incoming first year students and their supporters for fall of 2025. So if you're a different kind of student, if you're coming in for summer or if you're coming in for spring, you may have a different process. Or if you're a graduate student, also a different process. So this is first year students and supporters for fall of 2025. You're welcome to stay if that's not you, but your processes and timelines will be a little bit different. Use the Q&A button if you've got a question, and you can do that throughout the whole webinar, but I will take questions at the end to make sure that I'm getting to everyone's question. If I see a question a lot, or if Heather thinks that'd be a great question to answer for everyone, then she'll send it to me and we will get to that at the end. So don't despair. If you don't think we're ignoring you, we may be saving your question to the end, but we will try to get all of them answered. And then, like I said, we're gonna have time at the end to answer those questions. Okay, so jumping right in. First thing we want to talk about is the Dawg House. So the Dawg House is our student portal for housing. This is where students registered for housing. This is where they will be setting up their roommate groups, which we'll talk a little bit about later. This is where they'll be choosing a space, or if they want to submit a room change request, or change their address or anything. This is where their contract is. So it's really just the portal that students are using their MyID to log in to manage their whole housing assignments. So we call it the Dawg House. Only students can log in with their MyID and password. You can get to that from the housing website or in any email we've sent you probably. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the assignments timeline. So currently we're in the March through May kind of era on this chart. So beginning in December, first year students will able to begin registering for housing, and people are continuing to do that. Right now, as of March 1st, students could be searching for roommates and starting roommate groups. I'll talk a little bit more, a lot about roommates later, and Araceli would chime in as well. And then end of May and June is when students are choosing their space. So how it works in our process is after the university's commitment deadline of May 1st, then we know how many people we have coming to campus. And we will issue appointment times in the order which students registered for housing and paid their non-refundable fee, that $35 fee. So again, registering for housing doesn't commit you to UGA. It just gives you a chance in line to get the space of your choice, which will happen at the end of May. So be looking for an email in the middle of May about when you can choose. Okay, again, I like to say this, students are selecting their own housing. You're selecting your exact building and room during an online appointment time. So again, look in mid-May for an email from University Housing, and it'll say either, hey, your day and time where you can start selecting your housing will be, I'm just gonna pick a random date, June 17th at 10 a.m. Or it'll say, you don't have a time to choose yet, wait, and then we'll email you again. So every week that will happen until everyone has been assigned, which generally we try to do by the 4th of July. It's a student-driven process. So a lot of the questions we get are, what are the chances I'm getting into Russell Hall if I registered on December 10th? Or what are the chances that I can get a single room? And really, I can guess, but I don't know because it's based on the individual decisions of 6,000 18-year-olds. What's going to be the popular building this year? Who signed up earliest? Who's bringing in a roommate and who's not? So all of those are factors that go into those appointment times. So it's really a student-driven process again. The kind of the control starts when you register for housing, and that's when you've gotten in line to choose, which again will happen at the end of May through the end of June. We like to have everyone assigned by the 4th of July. So just keep checking that UJ email, not just for housing, but for other things. If you're committed to the university, your emails should be going to your UGA email address. If you're not committed, they're still going to whatever that email address is that you applied with. All right, a couple of notes about assignments for special groups. So we do have Morehead Honors College, and if you are in Morehead Honors College, you will have the opportunity to choose a space in Myers Hall, which you can see down there, beautiful sunny Myers Hall, before we do appointment times. So not everyone who's in the honors program or for first year students lives in Myers, but we do have priority spaces for up to 250 honors participants in there. So it's again, student driven. If students want to take that as an opportunity, they can. If not, they can wait for their appointment time to choose and just pick a different building. But again, those emails will go out mid-May. They'll say, at this date and this time, you can go log on. The only building you will see will be Myers Hall, and you can choose it. If you have a roommate, they must be an honors participant as well in order to pull them into Myers Hall at that time. All right, this is the part where I like to tell people like what it's going to be like when you go to choose. So first year students can expect to have a roommate. There are single rooms, there are apartments that are single occupancy bedrooms, but most of our first year spaces have two people in a room. And so that's pretty common. Now, if there are single rooms that are not taken by people with accessibility issues or by returning students, then those are just out there in, I would call it the pile of choices for rooms when people go to choose. And again, that's kind of shuffling all summer, but they're there. Everything, when you log in and it's your time to choose, everything that is available to you, you will see. In other words, we're not holding anything back. There are apartments available in our University Village East area, so that would be an option if you really wanted an apartment. It is a two people in a bedroom, but you've got like a living room and a full kitchen. And we also have apartments for up to 4 people, up to 6 people in Rooker, Vandiver, McWhorter, and Busby halls. So those are also options as well if you really are looking for an apartment. And then again, all those spaces will be available to you to choose during your appointment time. All right, roommates. So we basically think of finding a roommate. There's three different ways to do this, and I'll have Araceli chime in when I'm finished with this slide. But basically, if you know someone, this will be your first option, bring a friend. If you know someone who is entering UGA the same semester that you are, so fall 2025, then you go in that room, you go in the Dawg House, you create a roommate group, and either one of you can assign the other person to a space on campus when it's your turn to choose. Generally, how that works is the person with the first appointment time will pull in the second person, but you can wait. That's fine. Everyone will get an appointment time, so don't feel like you'll be totally left out if your roommate forgets to do that. The second way is to find someone. So you can do that in our portal in the Dawg House. We've got a roommate search tool in there that's basically like match.com for roommates. It does not automatically um, assign you with a roommate, but what it does is kind of act as like a filter for you to search through compatible people and reach out to them on your own and kind of talk to them and see if that would be a good option. So if it's a yes, so for example, if I'm searching and I say, oh, I'm a 80% match with Heather, then I call Heather or I Snapchat her or whatever you kids do. And then we talk and we say, yeah, we're gonna be roommates and we're gonna decorate in pink. Then create a roommate group in the Dawg House, and the same process works. I'll be able to assign her to a space and she'll be able to assign me to a space. So that's the common theme here is make sure that you're in a roommate group in the portal in the Dawg House. And the last way we like to say that you can get a roommate is make a friend, and that is random. So that means that you go choose a space, and maybe you picked 316 Mel Hall, and then somebody else comes in behind you and they pick 316 in Mel Hall, and ta-da, you're roommates and yay, you made a friend. So all you know about that person is that generally they're another first year student, um, almost always, um, with the same gender that you have on your UGA application. So that's the make a friend. It's again a student driven process. So we're not matching people up. It's just you choose a space and they choose that other space, and there you've got a roommate. Um, Araceli, did you want to talk a little bit about like how people are finding roommates outside of the Dawg House and how people may be able to do that?
Yeah, I feel like the most popular way that people find roommates these days is either through Instagram accounts. I'm sure UJ29 has already been posting a lot. That way you can see people and they give descriptions of themselves and the type of person that they are, what they enjoy doing. That way you can see just off the bat if you'd be compatible or not. And then from then on, you can start a conversation and message people. Um, you can also search up UJ29 hashtags on Instagram and UJ29 Snapchat groups as well. I also know Facebook groups are really popular these days. But yeah, I think social media is a really popular way that people are finding roommates as well.
Yep. So any way you want to find a roommate, you go ahead and do it. Um, we just have a pro tip in housing, and that is don't room with your best friend if you want them to continue to be your best friend. So maybe pick someone new, make a new friend, and that way, um, you don't risk that friendship because your expectations are too high, or if you've never lived with that person, you don't know. They may leave socks everywhere. You don't know. All right. So, oops, go back. So, um, again, to designate a roommate, once you've found this person, you are going to log into the Dawg House. They will have created a screen name when they did their profile, when they created it. So I'll just search them up. I'll be like, boop, 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 Araceli 569. And then I'll find her. I'll set up a group. Now it's called a group, but there's a maximum of 2 people. That's really a pair. I agree. The wording is bad, but it's really because most of our spaces only house 2 people. So really we don't want anyone left behind. So it's only 2 people. And I tell everybody, like with your roommate group, make sure y'all have a plan. Talk about your plan in ad nauseum in advance. Um, what halls are you going to go for first? What's your backup hall? What's your backup hall? What if there's two spaces in one hall or one building and they're on different floors, but there's no two spaces together? Then what do? Do you want to put somebody in the third floor and somebody in the fifth floor? Um, and then request a room change later, which is totally doable? Or do you want to switch buildings where you can both be together? So like just have those strategies in your mind so you're not stressing out and like on the group text when you're choosing your spaces. So again, both people have the power to assign the other person to the space, and everyone is going to get their own contract as well. So that's another important part, is just because you're the roommate who got pulled into a space, like say it was my turn to choose, I pull in Araceli, and so I put her in, Mel 315A and I'm Mel 315B. It doesn't matter which is which. Don't fixate on that. Then she still needs to sign her contract. Otherwise, that space may get released back into the pile and I no longer have her as a roommate. So both people are into doing their individual contracts. So that's a key point, is very soon after you choose your space, you'll get a contract via email, look it over. It'll have a deadline in it of when you have to have it back or have it signed. And then once you sign that, you've got your space. That is also the point at which you can request a room change. And we do hundreds and hundreds of those over the summer, but you do need a contract to request a room change. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about our VR tours. I got to stop sharing for a second. Then I'm going to share a different screen. Wait for it. Doodly doo. This is fun. I love how I have to. Okay, I'm going to share again. Nope, not that. Okay, sharing, hoping. Okay, I think everyone is seeing I'm on the housing website now. So if you're just at housing.uga.edu, you go to virtual tour here. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because there aren't going to be any in-person tours. So not during orientation, not during the summer, not next week or the week after that, which is finals. There will not be any in-person tours. So we have the virtual tour. That's really the best way to get a glimpse of all the halls. Now we've got 23 different residence halls and about 60 different types of rooms. So even if you saw a room on a tour, it may not be anything like the room you end up choosing. So that's why we did this virtual tour. So, and again, this summer, we're doing camps and conferences. We have like swim camp for a bunch of 12-year-olds. And we have renovations and refurbishings and deep cleaning going on. So again, so you can navigate two ways. You can hover over here. You can see on the map, there we are at there's the Coliseum, there's the track. Look, there's the baseball field. There's a bunch of residence halls in Central Campus. Should be Tate Student Center. There we go. Sanford Stadium. So you can navigate by picking one of those, or you can go over here to this menu here on the left. I'm going to pick Church Hall because that's my favorite. That's where I used to live. And now we're in front of Church Hall. And I'm going to click to go in. Boop. Look there, I'm in Church Hall. I didn't even need to use my ID to get in there. And look what I'm doing. You can spin around, so click and drag. If you have a VR headset like my 12-year-old son, if you're not chasing bad guys or killing zombies or something, you're welcome to try this in the VR headset. I would get sick if I tried that. But again, you can just walk around, see all the spaces. Or you can use this navigation over here on the left. I'm going to go straight to a student room. There we are. Sink in there in church. So Churchill, Boggs Mill, and Lipscomb all have sinks in them. That is clutch. I'm just saying. Your beds will come lofted to the highest position. Look at those closets. Look at all the storage. Okay. So there we go. Now I'm even going to go to the bathroom. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'll travel virtually to the bathroom. So you can see we're not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Like you can even see what the bathrooms look like. They've got full doors there. And it's well lit and clean and tidy. So all of that is an option. And we've got all our buildings over there. So I encourage everybody to go look at the virtual tour if you're trying to get a sense of what spaces we have to offer. Let me go back to my other page. Share. Okay. All right. Move in. So we're assuming you already chose where you're going to live and now you're ready to move in. Okay. Couple points about move in. Move in technically starts on August 8th. If you are part of a special group, and they will let you know if you're that part of that special group, you may move in on August 7th. Generally, that's just sorority recruitment, not fraternity recruitment, but sorority recruitment and Red Coat Band and auxiliaries. So maybe international life, but not sure yet. So you'll know if you're eligible to move in on that early day on August 7th, and it does incur a $50 fee. So that will be posted to your student account. Just know that, and they will be required to have an arrival time. So everyone moving in the 7th, 8th, and 9th will need an arrival time. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. All right, so yep, here we are. A regular move-in is August 8th through 13th. So the 13th is the first day of class. We want everyone to check in by 9 a.m. on the first day of class. Or else you'll show up on our no-show report. Don't be a no-show. So, we give people several days to move in. So that's like almost a whole week of time for people to move in to space it out because we don't want 9,000 people showing up at the same time. Nobody wants that. I'm gonna go back to this again and talk just more second about move-in arrival times, and that is so late June. Students could check their email to get information about how to choose an arrival time. So if they're moving on 7th, 8th, or 9th, they'll need to choose an arrival time. And again, that just staggers the traffic and everything, and students are choosing those themselves at the end of June. All right. So I can have Araceli talk really quick about the student street team because she's on it. She's a student content producer. And they are responsible for a lot of the videos and social that we see, letting people know about how it works to live on campus. Araceli, would you talk a little bit about being a ambassador and like what kind of content you do and maybe like pitch the job for the people who may want to do it next year?
Yeah. So this has been such an amazing experience. It's my favorite job I've ever had, and I've worked since I was able to at 16. I extremely just love being able to meet new people. Every event that you cover, whether that's for Instagram, or Facebook, we just really want to connect freshmen together, first year students, and make sure that they're aware of events going on, that they're aware of their RAs and their RBAs as resources. So the whole point of our page is just to kind of build community and create connections so that first years just aren't coming in without um, like making friends, and it's just an easy way to create a lot of communities. So that's our goal with our Instagram and our Facebook pages and our TikTok as well. Um, it's been a great experience for me. I've met a lot of new people. You go to lots of fun events, you get free food if you go, and you're just able to connect with a lot of people. I've enjoyed it a lot because every day it's something new, every day it looks different. So if you're into social media or even just wanting to start something new when you enter campus, I would really recommend joining the street team. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. It's like we trained her so well. That was a great job. But yeah, so those positions aren't currently open, but they will be. And you may see Araceli at orientation if you come to first year orientation. So look for her at the resource fair during check-in. But again, our students are creating content. We also have like this middle graphic is our Welcome to Our Room series. So that's created by students as well. And it's kind of like tours of actual students in their rooms when they're decorated and why they like their rooms. So that's a good resource as well. But we also have some informational videos on that page about, like how to loft your bed, how to find a roommate, what it looks like to choose a space in the doghouse. So all of that is also on there. The last thing I like to show people is our new student hub. So you'll hear us say this a lot, in emails and in our presentations, but it's really a great starting point for people to go to if they're looking for anything as an incoming student. So you could be a first year student, you could be a graduate student, you could be a transfer student, but really this is a great place to start. And let me go show you where that is. Now I stopped sharing. Let me go find it. Then we will share again. So many tabs. Okay. Okay, so now here on the new student hub, I just follow that link. You can also get to it from going to incoming students, new student hub. So it's got lots of great stuff on there. So link to our whole move-in page. The community guide is where you're going to find all the policies and regulations for housing. So all about visitation, what you can bring, what you can't bring, how you can hang things on the walls. All of that's going to be in the community guide. We also talk about registration. Look, there we are in the webinars. If you're coming to orientation and you want to stay in Blackdale and Miller, you would choose that when you choose your orientation session, which hasn't yet happened yet, so don't panic. Hasn't opened yet, but you can stay in Blackdale and Miller for orientation, so that's an option. And then way down here at the bottom, we've got our information about the renter's insurance that we offer through a partner vendor. We've got our mini fridge rentals, which is also through a partner vendor. Basically, you place the order for the rental, they'll put it in your room before you move in, and they'll take it away after you move out. So that's a fantastic option if you aren't interested in hauling fridges up the stairs or the elevators or in your car. And then again, at the bottom, we've got our resources resources separated into students and families. So that you're going to find stuff like what the housing assignments timeline looks like, the what to bring checklist, the 17 position adjustable beds that we have. So if you're like, well, my futon fit under there, I'm going to click on this one. It says exactly how high you can expect that bed to be when you move in, and it says how wide it is so you can fit your futon in there. Link to the video about how to fix it or like how to adjust it. So all of that information is a great resource there too. You're also going to be getting a magazine in the mail, like an actual physical magazine. For students who don't know what this is, but the mail is the thing where like you go outside of your house and there's like a box and it has papers and stuff in it. That is where that magazine will be. So look for that in May. It'll have like 30 something pages worth of this information as well. I know that the Gen Xers like myself and older millennials kind of like to have the magazine and the paper. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. All right. Share again. And we're back. Yay. Okay. All right. Last note is about room sign up. Now, this is what we call our process for choosing to live on campus after your first year. So it is a competitive process, but we do have space on campus for returners and graduate students. About 70% of our students that live on campus are first year students. So that leaves, you can do math, the 30% space left for returners and graduate students. This process actually starts in January. So we've already done it and completed this process for our returning students for fall of 2025. They already went through this. So just keep a lookout for that. If you really intend to live on campus for a second year, just know it's a competitive process. We cannot always meet demand. So just keep an eye out for that to make sure you don't miss it. All right, now we're gonna go to questions. Let me see if I can find them. Okay. All right. First question is from Anonymous. Now, Anonymous is a super fan. They are at every one of my webinars. I'm just saying. Anonymous says, is there a deadline to find a friend and create a roommate group? That's a great question. Not really, except the deadline is basically the day before you have your appointment to choose. So if your appointment to choose is June 22nd, and you don't find a roommate till June 21st, you can go in and add them or create a roommate group at that time. So as long as you're in a group before you go in to choose, there's not a deadline for that. All right, Anonymous says another question. What happens if you're assigned to a time you can't make? So the time to choose is really just the first minute that you can choose. So if that makes sense. Like if your appointment's at 10 a.m., you have basically that whole day. And I think even the next day, and then it ends at like 9 a.m. the next morning. So it's not like you have to log on right that second. But other people are choosing when you're not choosing. So just keep that in mind. So it's not like you have to log in exactly at that time. It's not like it's going to start and kick you out or anything. And then Lisa says, do janitorial services clean all the freshman housing? Yeah, so that's a great question. So in our building, all our buildings have their own custodial staff that are university housing employees. So they're constantly cleaning common areas, study lounges, everything like that. And they also clean community bathrooms twice a day, generally. They do not clean suite style bathrooms or apartment bathrooms, and they do not clean student rooms. So you are in charge of cleaning your own room and bathroom if it's an apartment or a suite, but you're not in charge of cleaning that community bathroom or any of the other community spaces. And you'll get to know who those people are because it's this like you'll have one person assigned to your floor basically, and you'll say, oh, it's Janetta's turn. It's Janetta's asked if she can clean today, left us a note that she's going to come clean her bathroom today, or oh, I see Janetta in the bathroom because she's doing her twice daily cleaning. So you'll see that person and get to know them. All right, Cole asks, are incoming freshmen allowed to hunker down and help out? Yeah, so we do have a volunteer program for the 8th and 9th of August called Hunker Down with Housing, in which students volunteer to help with parking and traffic and check-in and just like all of the logistics that go along with, the 8,000 people moving in. So you are allowed to volunteer. That link is live on the housing website. So if you go to the move-in page, you can Google Hunker Down with Housing, or you can go to housing.uga.edu/move-in, and you will see that there, and you can volunteer. You do get meals during your shifts, and you get a t-shirt, and you get to move in on August 7th. So you get to move in early. So good question. All right. Anonymous says, is there a way to see maps of each floor in Rutherford? Yeah, actually, so there's a way to see them, what we call floor plans of every building in the Dawg House. So for security reasons, they're not on the public website, but if you log into the Dawg House, you can find the floor plans for all the buildings. And then you can look up, it's a PDF. You'll just look up the 3rd floor and find where 373 is on that floor. So that goes for anyone. All the floor plans are behind the login on the Dawg House. All right. Ooh. Anonymous says, if you have a disability bathroom in a high rise, does janitorial clean that as well? They do not, unless that is part of your accommodation. So if cleaning is part of your accommodation, then we'll clean it. If it's not a part of your accommodation, then we won't clean it. So that's up to the disability resource, or sorry, their accessibility and testing. That's up to your accessibility and testing representative, whether or not that is part of your uh, accommodation to live on campus. Let's see. Um, Cole says, do you know how early after signups are initially open that Myers Hall normally fills up? Oh, Sydney's answering it, but like honestly, some years Honors takes all of the rooms in Myers, and some years they don't take them all, and then they're in there for other people to choose. Again, student-driven process. I don't know what's going to happen. I also don't know who's pulling in an honors roommate and who's not. So it's not a predictable factor. All right, let's see. Um, let's see. Okay. Okay, y'all are answering. Y'all are answering. Um, Araceli, can I get you to come back for a second and talk a little bit about um maybe the move-in process for you and what that looked like?
Yeah, so I lived in Lipscomb Hall, which is a part of the Hill community. Um, I lived on the third floor. There are no elevators in the Hill community, so make sure to bring the strongest people you know. But either way, you're gonna want to bring at least like two people with you to help you out. Um, it was pretty simple. I know I would recommend getting a different time than your roommate. You get to pick what time you want to move in. I would recommend doing a different time than your roommate so that you both aren't coming in at the same time and it's very chaotic. So one roommate does it first, and then right after, your family and your friends help you move in so that there's a little bit more like peace, and a little bit more ease in that process. Yeah, my move-in process was really, really simple. I know the high rises do get elevators, so that'll be maybe a little bit easier. Um, but either way, I would just recommend bringing a good amount of people with you. But yeah, I don't think it's really that bad. I would just say the biggest thing is choosing a different time than your roommate.
Okay, that's a good tip. She's got a good point too. So you can't pick up your roommate's key for them. Only the students can pick up keys, but um, it does help if you're kind of staggering that so that like maybe one side is set up before the other people come in with all of their stuff.
And they
Um,
don't let your parents get the keys either. So you have to
yeah.
be the one to get the key. So sometimes I tried to send my dad to go get it, but they wouldn't. So
Correct. So the students are the one who sign the contract unless they're not 18 yet. So they sign the contract and they need to show their ID to pick up that key. So you're right. You can't do it as a parent or a roommate or anything like that. Got a question, another question about anonymous. Are boys on one side and girls on the other side of a dorm floor? It depends. So there's some buildings where there's only one bathroom, like she mentioned Lipscomb. There's one bathroom per floor. So in that case, it's a smaller building. Then there would be one gender per floor. But there are some buildings that have um, up to four community bathrooms for a floor, like on different wings. So it may be that like three wings are women and one wing is men. Um, so it just depends on the building. And honestly, that changes yearly. That's one of the things we're trying to figure out when after May 1st, is how many women versus how many men do we have and how many spaces we need to allot for those. So it really just depends, and it's based on the bathrooms. But we do have single-use bathrooms in all the buildings as well. So just keep that in mind if that's something you're looking for. All right. Anonymous says, do renovation dates listed on the halls represent renovation to the rooms themselves or the common kitchens areas? Okay, so great question. So the renovation dates listed on um, the website, which some have, so Churchill, Boggs Mill, Lipscomb, Brumby, Russell, those have all been recently renovated since 2020. Um, those were all common areas, and except Churchill, Boggs Mill, Lipscomb. We really didn't do anything to the rooms except put in new flooring. But all the common areas and bathrooms. So usually it'll say what we renovated. in the description. So that's kind of the best place to look for that. But you can also go check the virtual tour to see like what the room looks like now. And you can usually tell. The new flooring that we're kind of going with now is a kind of like that. It's called LVT. It's a vinyl tile that looks like wood. So that's the newest flooring in all of those buildings. I think Mary Linden is getting its new flooring this summer. So yay for Mary Linden. All right. I don't see any other questions. Look at that. Y'all did such a great job of answering questions. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up a couple more points about orientation and what it looks like for us. So you will see us again. You'll see us at orientation. We will be there in Blackdale and Miller. We'll be there at the resource fair. You will hear a session from us for supporters and for students. So anytime y'all have a question, please feel free to reach out. You can do that at orientation. You can do it by chatting with us on the website. You can email. We really want you to understand the process. Don't feel like you have a dumb question. Like, we really want to make sure that y'all understand it, and we're there to help you. So feel free to reach out at any time. So someone's asking, what does the East Campus summer note that was posted on the website mean? So basically, there are 4 buildings in East Campus Village, and that's Busby, McWhorter, Rooker, and Vandiver, those 4. Some of them have summer contracts, which means they have a fall, spring, and summer contract that you agree to when you sign your contract. Some don't. So it says in your contract very clearly, and it'll say in the email when you get your contract very clearly if you have a summer contract. Now, that means you're agreeing to pay that summer fee whether you're taking classes or not. So just keep that in mind. If you do see those, there aren't a lot of them for first year students, but they are out there. So just make sure that you keep that in mind and are noticing that you may have a summer like you may have an obligation to pay that summer fee if you sign one of those contracts. Let's see. Lisa Johnson says, for 2nd to 4th year housing, what resources are available to find off-campus housing? So honestly, I don't think there's a lack of off-campus housing. There may be a lack of nearby or affordable off-campus housing. But the Office of Student Transitions is currently trying to compile some resources for students to find off-campus housing. But as university housing, that is not in our mission, and it kind of goes against what we are there to do, which is support the students that live on campus. I'm not saying that we're just going to drop you and leave you in the dark, but Office of Student Transitions is trying to work out what that looks like to give people a little more support. But they do have housing fairs. The internet's a great place. Friends that are older than you are a great resource. Definitely not a lack of housing. It's just a matter of like, when do you start looking, and what does that look like for you? All right. Let's see. Anonymous says, if we can't send packages ahead of time, how far away is the mailroom? So you're right. Don't send your packages until you check in, because 1, you do not legally occupy that space yet. And 2, we don't have room to store everybody's like Target and IKEA stuff. So don't send it until you check in, or make sure that it's arriving after you check in or after you plan to move in. The mailrooms are, I mean, if you live in a larger building, Brumby, Creswell, Russell, they're in the building. If you live in one of the smaller buildings, they're usually consolidated like the next door. They're not far. So I don't think that's a huge concern. They're not that far. I mean, unless you're ordering, I don't know, like dumbbells or a whole couch or something, I think you'll be okay. Okay. Okay, no more open questions. Oh my gosh, that means that either we covered it all, or y'all are reading your emails, using your resources. Okay, Anonymous I'm telling you, super fan. What is laundry like? Laundry sucks at any age, okay? But what is laundry like is such a fun question. Um, Laundry is like when you wash your clothes and you have to do it on your own and your parents aren't doing it for you. But how you do that in the residence halls is every hall has a laundry room or several. Some have one big laundry room, some have several smaller laundry rooms. There's no payment for the laundry, so it's free to use. And they are high efficiency washers, so make sure that you're getting you buy your own detergent. Just make sure it's high efficiency. And they're just kind of first come, first serve. I would just not do it on a Sunday because everybody tends to do that. So it gets a little crowded. So just pick a random day to do your laundry. Those laundry rooms are open 24/7. The next question is like, then when I put my clothes away, and if you're me, the answer is almost never, because that's the worst part. All right, Joanne says, if you're in the honors dorm, can you stay there for 4 years, or do you have to, um, or is that just for the first year? So it's my understanding that the first year's Myers rooms are designated for first year students, which means you wouldn't be able to stay there. However, how it's worked in the past is um, first we'll let people choose their own room if they can stay in their own room, if that's an option for them. The next step, how it's worked in the past, I'm not saying we're going to do this next year. We're trying to figure out what's the most equitable process, is that we have same hall day. So, for example, this year, first year students in Myers maybe couldn't select their current room, but they could still select Myers along with all the other Myers people on same hall day. So that's how it worked this year. Again, I don't know if that's how we're going to do it next year, but that's an option. So it does make sense though that if you're choosing a building, let's say Payne Hall. Payne Hall has first years and what we call returners in it. Generally you're able to keep that space. So if it's a real priority for you to live on campus for more than 1 year, then maybe pick a room in a building that isn't just a first year hall. So for example, if you're in Brumby, you can't stay there because you won't be a first year student the next year. That will be new students. All right, Anonymous says, do most people use pods or liquid? I think most people use pods. Throw that pod in with your laundry. Just a pro tip. Don't throw it in the little drawer or whatever. Just throw it in with your laundry and start it. There's directions on the machines. I promise you can do it. Um, let's see. Anonymous says, what are the vibes of the high rise and the types of people who stay in the high rises? Oh my gosh. Araceli, I'm calling you out again. Like, what are the vibes of Blackdale, Miller, Russell, Brumby, Creswell? Do they have different vibes for the types of people that tend to
Um,
stay there?
I would say the vibes are great for all of them, but Russell and Brumby, the people there all have kind of a similar vibe. They're all very social. Um, I lived in the Hill community, but most of my time was spent with my friends in either Russell or Brumby. Cresswell is probably social out of all of them because I think the community in Cresswell every year is just top tier, and every person I meet at Cresswell has had lifelong friends, um, past freshman year, past first year. So, I mean, they're all great. They're all really social, but the most social out of all of them is probably Cresswell. But every high rise that you live in is gonna have a great vibe, a great energy. But yeah. BDM or Blackdell Miller, I'm not really sure about that one.
Yeah,
Everyone there is really happy though because they have the newest hall.
they do. And I would agree, like people people bashed Creswell, which we call the Green Monster, but like everyone in there seems to really love living in Creswell because it is super social. And again, Black Della Miller is going to be like, the the golden child because it's the newest building, and it's most in demand. But it's got great views. But Russell and Brumby are also really um, social as well. Anytime you've got 1,000 freshmen all in one building, it's going to be a fun time. There's always going to be somebody to like take you to Target or go to the dining hall with you. For the smaller buildings, though, like if you want a quieter vibe, those smaller buildings like Lipscomb and Church, like that I lived in and that Araceli lived in, are great for that. And they're also, you may make closer friendships because you're seeing the same people more often. And it's a little quieter. It's not so busy, but just kind of pick what you feel like fits your own personality. All right. Let's see. I, Anonymous, come on now. It says, is social euphemism for partying or just fun? I really don't think it's a euphemism for partying. Like, not a lot of partying goes on in the buildings, honestly. Um, there's a lot of hanging out. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of go with me to this or go with me to this or join this club. So that is probably what we mean by fun. There's not a lot of partying that goes on in the buildings. They're not generally very loud, if that makes sense. I mean, keep in mind, y'all are the cream of the crop going to UGA, right? Like you had to study to get here. You had to earn it, and you're gonna have to earn it to stay there. So, you know, take it as you will. Um, let's see. Anonymous says, I have electric car. I have electric car too. Do I have to buy a slot of parking lot that already has an EV charger? You don't. Like most of the public lots have EV chargers, and as long as you're plugged in, you can park there. Um, so I wouldn't, I mean, so like most of the decks, I would say, have an EV charger. So you can just park there and do the fast charger um, while you're parked there, like going to a club or something like that. That would probably be what I did. Because most of the decks have those. So, but I wouldn't worry about trying to get a deck just because of the charger, because you're not going to be driving around campus to class or anything. Um, if I had to guess, you'd have to charge once a week tops, unless you were going home every weekend. And I don't know where you live, but that was my guess. I charge once a week, and I live about 5 miles from campus. So take that as you will. And I charge at home. Anyway, what are the quiet hours? So quiet hours are going to be 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. every day. So that just means that like um, if you're making a ruckus and you're interrupting people studying, you might get called out during those times. Visiting hours are different. If you're in a building that's all first year students, you're allowed to have visitors um, on the weekends, 24 hours. During the weekdays, I think it's before 2 a.m. and then up to 8 a.m. So like between 2 a.m. and 8, I guess. When you should be sleeping or studying, you can't bring a visitor into the building. But we're not going around people's rooms and checking to see if they're already there. If that makes sense. Let's see. Would you recommend a car at UGA if you don't live on campus second year? Um, it depends. So a lot of off-campus apartment complexes even have their own shuttles, or on the UGA bus line, or they're on the Athens City bus line, which is free for students too. So I know a lot of students use those city bus lines to come in to campus so they don't have to pay for a commuter lot or worry about not finding a commuter space or driving. So that's an option. Let's see. I don't know that much about parking, y'all. I don't know when registration opens, but I do know that if they offer you a spot, you take it. I don't care where it is. If it's on the moon, you take it. Um, that's it. That's all about parking. You're not guaranteed a space, even as a residential student. So it's really just, you know, first come, first serve, I think, as far as the registration goes. But parking services would let you know that. A lot of people, like I said, you're not driving to class. You may, if you bring a car, you probably will not move it more than once a week to go to the grocery store or Target or I don't know. But again, the buses go there. You have friends who are going there. Um, and you can ride the UGA buses as well as the Athens buses. So I wouldn't bring a car my first year just because it's a hassle and you have to pay for it and it's just going to sit there in the parking lot. All right, I think we can wrap up a little bit early. We're 4 minutes early. This will be recorded. It was recorded, and we'll put it on the housing YouTube channel. The other two are there as well. Please make sure that you are checking that UJ email and asking us any questions because we would love to help. And okay, I got a couple more questions, but if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. Where do you get groceries if you don't have a car? You can DoorDash them, or you can go, there's a Target downtown. Um, there's an Earth Fare, there are walkable grocery stores, or they're on the bus line. And then which floors have AC on the ceiling versus floor in Blackdale and Miller? Those are all the same in Blackdale and Miller. They're all like built into the window, so it doesn't stick out in Blackdale and Miller. All right, I think I answered all your questions. Again, reach out to us if you need help. We are here to help. And I hope to see all y'all at orientation.